The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
And three, two, one. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. It is Powtoon's Video Skill Builder webinar, How to Make Videos That Tell a Powerful Story. I'm so excited you guys are joining us today. We had nearly 3,000 registrants for this webinar. You guys are hungry to learn about video skills, about storytelling, about how to make your videos more powerful. So I'm so glad you're joining us. I just want to welcome you and do a couple of introductions to get us situated here. That's me on the right. I'm Nick Liebman, head of content at Powtoon. We are going to be joined very shortly by a special guest, Clair Palphreyman, who is a communications lead at Accenture. And she's sharing some awesome information with us today, stuff you guys will not want to miss. But in the meantime, please let me know, what's your name? Where are you joining us from? Can you hear me? Can you see my screen? That just helps me know that we're broadcasting properly and that everything's going on. Right in that question box, you should be able to type in a response there. Yes, good morning, says Michelle. Good morning. Let's see, Larry in Austin. Welcome, Larry. And you guys also, if you what kind of video story are you trying to tell? What kind of videos are you making? That will also help me just know we're coming through loud and clear. We've got Rachel in New York City. Welcome, Rachel. Let's see. Eugenia is joining us. Hi, everything is okay. Good. That's wonderful. We've got Aditya joining us all the way from India. Welcome. Morning. John is joining us from Chile in South America. Good morning. We've got James from Tampa. We've got Frank saying hi from Canada. Jake from the UK, welcome. Hello. Colleen in Michigan. We've got Lisa joining us from Omaha, Nebraska. And Manuela says, hi from Romania. I love Romania. I got to sing on a choir tour in Brasov and Bucharest, and it was a really excellent time. So glad you're joining us. Let's see here. We've got Chris from Orlando, Florida. We've got Joyce joining us from South Indianapolis. Welcome. So many people, so much wonderful, positive energy. You guys didn't come for this. You came to get your feet wet, to get some skills, some video creating skills. So let me give you a little sneak peek of what we're in for in the next 45 minutes or so. First, we're going to have a very quick discussion of the power of storytelling. We're going to meet Claire, our special guest and our Powtoon power user. She's going to show us how she creates powerful stories. Number three, that's what I'm talking about, how I pow. She's going to show us right live in the studio her top tips for powerful video storytelling. And then we answer your most pressing Powtoon questions live right in the studio. But first, why is it? Why, ladies and gentlemen, why are stories so effective? I just have one little piece on this. This came from Vanessa Boris, who was writing in the Harvard Business Publishing Corporate Learning, and she wrote an article that goes through what makes storytelling so effective for learning. And she had three key takeaways about this. The first thing is that stories connect learners, right? You're not just reading a big block of text, but you're going through something with characters from the beginning to resolving a conflict and then coming out at the end. You're connected to the information in a way that you wouldn't be from just a plain block of text. Stories provide something for everyone. Are you a visual learner? Are you an auditory learner? Do you learn through movement? Do you like to connect with a particular character and their perspective? Do you want to be able to read the text of the story? Are you more of a text kind of person? There's always something for everyone in a story. And I think the most important point, stories stick. Stories simply make a deeper impact on us, and the information sticks around longer than if we're encountering information in a different form. But I know what you guys are saying. So what? Yeah, I know I need a good story for my Netflix pilot I'm writing on the weekends, but we're talking about work. We're talking about meeting recaps and CEO inspiration. We're talking about company announcements, upskilling and training, and weekly reports. How on earth do I use storytelling to make that stuff compelling? Well, that is precisely the reason we have our friend Claire joining us today. Claire, are you on the line?
I am. Hi, Nick.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
We're so glad you're joining us today, and I hope that you can untangle some of this for us because we all understand intuitively that stories are powerful. We all connect with powerful stories that we encountered from when we were kids, amazing movies, books we read. But how does this apply to learning? How does this apply to your role as a communications lead? And actually, why don't I just hand this over to you? You can take us and show us exactly what it's all about. Just one moment. And thanks everyone
Okay,
for your patience. Claire and make presenter. Okay.
great. Right, let me see if I can find the right button.
Finding the right
Mm,
button is half the
There
battle.
we go. Okay, so Nick, tell me, can you see Powtoon?
I can. Is everybody also in the chat? Can they see Claire's screen there in the Powtoon studio? And yes, 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 yes. We've got a big string of yeses. Awesome. I think that you are ready to go.
Okay, fantastic. So let's imagine the boss asks, we need a launch campaign out to all of our customers. Sure, no problem, you say. Boss says, great. We need it for Monday, before our competitors launch. Meet Sophie, a slightly panicky communications lead. So to introduce myself, I'm Clair Palphreyman, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I like to pow. And I am just going to turn off the music for this so it doesn't interfere with my presentation. Okay. Fantastic. So at Accenture, we've been doing learning for decades with companies large and small, and we've been doing it really well. Part of my role is to drive adoption of learning or a growth mindset amongst our clients' workforce. Now, this is a growing trend and need that we're seeing in business. Industries and technology are rapidly shifting, meaning that we're constantly learning and adapting. My role involves making sense of that for the learners, which requires making a connection to their world and the bigger picture. So tools like Powtoon have been essential in being able to rapidly launch campaigns that captivate the learner's attention, make sense of the complex ideas, and gain their commitment to continually grow and adapt. Tools like Powtoon help make that human connection easy. So I'm going to talk about my three main focus areas when I like to pow. Okay, so first of all, story structure. There is a formula a little bit beyond a beginning, middle, and an end that you can use to plan your Powtoon, and I'll go into more detail shortly. Secondly, emotion. Using emotion is what helps make that human connection. That's what will captivate your audience and make it memorable. Then finally, presentation. Less is definitely more, and I'm going to talk to some of those considerations I make when I'm working on my visuals in Powtoon. Okay, so the story structure. Even before you touch PowerPoint or Powtoon, you need to work on your narrative. And I'll give you a tip. If you search Google for storytelling canvas, there's some really great templates out there that you can use. First of all, you need to know your audience. Think about what resonates well with them and what doesn't. I like to keep them central to the story, the main protagonist. So for all you listening, perhaps you might relate to Sophie's situation in some manner. Open with a compelling through line or hook. I love to use the realistic toolkit. Now this comes with the enterprise version of the tool. And it is fantastic. You can do it with the other templates as well, but in particular, I like to use the Storyblocks library, and I'll show you some of that later on. It offers many clips that will support your opening. When you're planning your through line, look to build up curiosity, maybe open with a question or a bold statement or a compelling data point. You'll see that I opened with the statement, imagine if. Now, immediately, your audience will make some sort of personal connection to that statement. Look to maintain engagement with disruption. All great stories have some sort of disruption. Maybe your plight's so serious that you open right away with that disruption. Our need to seek answers as human beings is what keeps us listening. We are all wondering how on earth Sophie is going to turn around a video launch campaign without working her entire weekend. Then offer your solution. I recommend 3 points, ideally, possibly 5. Why am I saying odd numbers? So human beings tend to remember odd numbers rather than even. And you'll see that I've broken this presentation up into 3 main points. And finally, and most importantly, conclude with your message, your opening message, with your key takeaway. They should link. Your key takeaway should offer an aha moment. For example, how can these 3 things help Sophie? And then before I move on, length. Length is super important. The next time you watch a video or a telestration, I challenge you to be really mindful about the point on when you zone out. Once you've written your narrative, maybe test it on a couple of different people, see when they stop paying attention. My main message here is keep it short. Okay, so next, emotion is key if you want to connect with your viewers, and there are lots of ways you can achieve that. When you bring emotion into a story, it triggers chemicals like oxytocin and endorphins, and it can really help make your presentations memorable. So there's 4 different elements we're going to look at here. And the first one is visual. So a picture paints 1,000 words, but a video can do so much more. So in searching for Sophie, I simply go to the media channel and I look for a really broad term. So this throws up the most relevant content and the broadest options. Here we go down to story blocks, and you can see lots of different videos appear with characters here. And what I really love about the characters, and you'll see this with Sophie, is that some of these videos start with one expression and finish with another. This is really useful when you're trying to tie a story together. And this fella actually at the top here, I've used him in several presentations recently. And there's actually multiple videos of him. So you've got multiple UCs for the same character, which is, allows great flexibility in your storytelling. Okay, then beyond that, there's pace. So I'm referring to the way that your screen comes together. I like to think of your slides as your stage. High energy will have lots of elements sliding in and sliding off again. And maybe a calmer presentation, I tend to opt for things like the fade function. You can really affect the mood of the viewer with the animation techniques. I'm just going to slide up here to this slide again so you can see how this comes together. So I've got the 3 blocks. Okay, so it comes together quite quickly. And if I go to enter and exit effects, you can see this is where I've used these effects. So I've got 1 block sliding up, and on the right-hand side, the other one slides down. You can also add exit effects in here as well. Okay, let me go back to my slide. So narration. Think about the pace and tone of your narration. Recording audio in Powtoon is super easy, and I like to play with the pitch, speed, and tone on my slides. You can have music too, and I'll show you that in a moment, but I do tend to keep my music low where I have narrative. So when you're adding narration, it's really easy. You just go in here and you click Add Voiceover, and you can record your own voice. Now, I tend to do a lot of my own audio. I've done it for many, many years for a lot of our learning solutions. Or you can upload existing audio that's maybe been pre-recorded by someone else, or you can hire a pro via Voice Bunny. So I would typically click record, and I tend to do it slide by slide. Now, make sure you've got your whole narrative panned out, because otherwise it will hurt the flow. But it's just nice to see how the audio sits with the animations on the screen. So I would click this to current slide, I'd click start record, it would count me down 3, 2, 1, and then you can review recording, or you can it if you don't like it, or do it again. The one thing I would suggest is that you do your audio in the same day. Don't do some clips one day and some the other. If you have to change something after you've sent something for review, the likelihood is you should record it again, because you will sound different on different days, unfortunately. But that's just us as human beings. Okay. Then finally, sound. Music is super key, and the library is really great at categorizing. So I'm just going to click the button down here on the right. Let's get rid of expressions. Make sure you clear your search field. It's not playing ball now. There we go. It's just me not pressing the proper button. So we have premium sounds, and we also have the kind of regular free sounds. Now, I have actually used quite a few of the free sounds, even though I've got the enterprise version, they're pretty good. But if you go to the top, it actually is categorized. And Claire, you need to stop scrolling so fast. There we go. So you've got happy, chill, edgy, all different, dramatic. You can type in your own emotions and it'll throw up some different options. You can preview right there in the tool. So I don't know if you can hear that. And pause. And if you want to use it, you just simply click use, and it will add the to the entire Powtoon. And if you've got voiceover, just set this down quite low so it doesn't drown out your voiceover. So that's it. That's how you add music. Right, let's move on to the next. And we've still got the music. So presentation. Okay, so rule of 3, check out the grid feature in Powtoon. That's really great for ensuring that everything's consistently aligned. And if it's not, people will pick it up and it will distract them from what you're trying to do. So try and make sure you're consistent in your alignment. But in terms of rule of 3, I like to split my screen into thirds. And this is a clever tactic used by graphic designers and photographers. And I'll tell you why. So if I just click play here, you see these little crosses that appear. They're actually called PowerPoints, believe it or not. And apparently, placing your images on any one of these PowerPoints can create a composition that feels balanced and full of energy, as opposed to just centering something. Photographers use this a lot as well. Consistency. So transitions, people get really excited by stuff that moves, and then especially when they first get into the tool, be really mindful about the transitions that you choose, that they're working with the animations you have set up. So I use a lot of sliding boxes. I really like this, and it works for my Accenture branding as well. But I also think about the transitions that in between. So I tend to use the slice options or the swipe, and I tend not to use much outside of that, because it just gets too cluttered and it can end up looking a bit unprofessional. So maybe 2 or 3 transitions max. If you're trying to capture attention, then yeah, maybe go for something a bit more wacky, and that can lift your presentation. And then go back down to this side, and then finally, less is more. Okay, so if you're looking at your slide and you're kind of questioning whether there's too much on the screen, there probably is. Get rid of it. Don't clutter up, or take it to another slide. So yeah, definitely white space or more simplified animations is definitely better than clutter, which can distract from your message. Okay. So to recap, story structure, open with a compelling through line or hook and conclude with your key takeaway. Make sure the two tie up if you want this to land well. Emotion. Using emotions helps to make that human connection and captivate your audience. Chemicals like oxytocin and endorphins help make stories stick. You might not remember all of what was said, but you will recall how you felt. That's a powerful memory weapon. And presentation, less is definitely more. Don't overdo it. Consistent layouts, builds and transitions will help give your presentations a professional feel and remember that rule of thirds. I think that I read somewhere that around 93% of any presentation success is down to the delivery. In this case, it's the video presentation. So get that other 7% right, the story, and you'll have the perfect storm. So back to Sophie. Now, which ingredients do you think you need to deliver a powerful story that will blow your competitors? I wonder how she's feeling. A calm and in control communications lead. I'm Clair Palphreyman, and thank you for listening. I think we're going to have some questions now with Nick.
Yes, absolutely. Claire, thank you so much. I mean, the questions are rolling in already, but I want to just let everybody know who's listening, please, if you have a question, type it into that question box. We're here. Claire, keep that studio open. We're going to dive right in and we're going to answer some of these questions. So Ernesto and a number of other people have been asking, will there be a recording of this webinar? Some people have to leave early and things like that. And I know also there were people who said they didn't receive their confirmation. A colleague of theirs didn't receive a confirmation email, couldn't get into the webinar. Don't worry, we will be sending via email tomorrow a link to a replay of this full training. So if you missed something, if you want to review it like Ernesto wanted to do, or if you had to leave early or one of your colleagues couldn't make it, don't worry, you will have a recording of this webinar for you via email tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone, for that. Oh, wow, so many questions coming in here. Let's see here. We've got Olivia, who wants to know, can you add a fade at the end of your audio? Well, actually, Olivia, and this actually also, there was another audio-related question here. Here we go. This was from Heather. Can you add music to one slide but not another? Can you change music halfway through the presentation? So that and the question that Olivia had about fading out the audio. First of all, the soundtrack, whatever soundtrack you pick, or if you upload your own MP3 as a soundtrack, Powtoon will automatically fade it out in the last couple of seconds of your video. So there's an automatic fade out at the end of your video. You can to Heather's question about having music on one slide or another, and this might actually, Claire, if you do me a solid, could you click on? Oh, good, we're on the sound menu. Scroll up. Just scroll up on the right on the library there. Close that and scroll all the way up here. Now you see you can add music or add voiceover. If you click add music, go ahead and give that a click. Now you can upload an MP3 file and use that as your music track. That will automatically be assigned to your entire Powtoon. It'll start at the beginning of the Powtoon, at the beginning of your audio track, and play until the end of your Powtoon. Will automatically fade out towards the end of that. But let's click out of this. There is a way around that. If you want to have music on only one track, you can click add voiceover, and let's click that. And upload when you click, we'll see it when we click record here. Actually, if you click record, that'll show you. You see the current slide or entire Powtoon. That's an option for voiceover in case you want to be able to put voiceover on just one slide. But you can use that same functionality and upload an MP3 of music and have that music only playing on that one slide. So that's my recommendation about doing that sort of thing. The other thing you can do is use a third-party software like Audacity, which is a free audio editing software, or if you have Logic or some other audio workstation that you're familiar with, you can produce an audio track that includes your voiceover, that includes background music, and has all of the nuances there perfectly scripted. You can upload that as your voiceover for the entire Powtoon, and then you'll be able to have it together, crafted ahead of time, and you can match your visuals to the timing of the audio that way. So those are a couple of different options. There's never one way to slice an onion. There's always plenty of ways. So that's what I recommend there. We had another question here that came from Karen. And Karen is interested to know specifically about blocks of text or other shapes and things like that, entry and exit. So in the same slide, she asks, I wish to replace text with another text, but I don't know how to exit the first element. So, hey, Claire, I think we could maybe show them this
Yeah.
right there at
Hmm.
the studio. And I think, yeah, like let's just take that little piece of text there you've got highlighted.
Yep. And we can
And
add.
yeah, so and as you can see there, this question, like I said, came through from Karen, and Karen, if you see there, right, either when you right click on the item, or if you click on that little, if you look down on the timeline there next to the beginning or end of this item on the timeline, you can see that little box that's kind of faded. If you click that, you can also see your options for entry and exit effects. So um, yeah, and just if you, Claire, be so kind, click on that guy, yeah, and then click right on the right, that little box on the right there. Just click that box.
This one here?
Yep, that'll show you all of your entry and exit. These are exit effects because it's at the end of that text's time on stage. So these are all your options. You can actually choose no effect, and it will simply disappear. You can choose pop, which is nice and animated. It'll pop onto stage. Fade, I think, is the most professional. So it just simply fades out. And that's what we've got selected right now. Or you've got these other ones where it's swooping right, left, up, down, or coming right, left, up, down from inside its text box. That's what the reveal options are. I hope that's helpful. What I might do, Claire, if we could just have your text exit and have new text enter, and maybe we could use fade. I think fade is the one to use. Yeah,
Okay,
just
so
take
let
one.
me just bring one of these
Yeah,
guys
perfect.
here. And you're gonna come.
There
There
you
we
go.
go. Just pop him up here, and maybe we want to replace that in the center there.
Yeah.
So what will happen if I go to play?
That goes out, that comes in. And again, you have full control. Do you want to have it fade? Do you want to have it be more kinesthetic, moving, swooping in from somewhere else? Do you want it to pop? Do you want it to have no effect, to just be a clean, it's there, it's gone? So we've got lots of options there for you. Let me just get back to, oh man, so many questions coming in. Let's see. Carlos wants to know, can I sell the presentations I make with Powtoon? You can if you have an agency account. An agency account includes third-party resale rights for the content that you create on Powtoon. So if you have an agency account, yes, 100%, Carlos, you can sell the presentations and videos that you make on Powtoon. All right. And I've got here, Divya is asking, can we add an animated GIF? Yes, you can. This is actually probably a good moment, Claire, if you wanted to just click on the media section there on the right. Now, just so you guys know, Claire is working from the business platform, the enterprise platform of Powtoon. So this looks slightly different, and images and video are in one folder. But if you're using the free version or Pro Plus, or agency account, then you will see images and video split out. But it still works the same here. If you want to upload something new, you can click Upload. Go ahead and click Upload Media. And if you can see actually right at the bottom here, this tells you the different kinds of formats you can upload: JPEG, PNG, GIF, and SVG. That's actually brand new. If you've got an SVG file, you can upload that as well, which are really, really high quality but not as heavy as JPEGs and GIFs and things like that. You can also upload MP4s up to 90 seconds in length to act as your video background, the same way that those story blocks and premium video backgrounds do. And of course, you can upload that, or you can import it from those other platforms there. So I hope that that answers that question, Divya. Let's see what else we have. Claire, you have any insights on that? Are you using images on a regular basis? Are you ever uploading MP4s that you guys produced yourselves?
Yes, we have. We've used, so we've had quite a few testimonial videos that we've put together. We keep them quite short, so it works well for the 90-second mark.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, so good feature.
Excellent. Yeah. And some Rudy is asking, how do we add a video inside some shape? Like how to place a video inside a rectangle instead of putting the video as the entire background. So currently, video operates as a background only in Powtoon. We are, I believe it's on the roadmap. I don't have an estimate for you when we'll be able to do that. But with images, and also this is a great little workaround for it with an animated GIF as well, you can load those into what's called an image frame. So if we just click out of this media uploader, Claire, thanks. And if you scroll, I believe it's in shapes. Go ahead and click the shapes. One more. There you go. And scroll down to the fourth one. Image frames. Go ahead and click image frames. And so these are basically just, some of them are their computers in those contexts, but we also have different kinds of frames. And also, if we keep going there, I think we've got some, these paintbrush strokes and things like that, all sorts of things. And then other shapes as well. Those with the plus sign in them, when you choose them and put them on the stage, so go ahead and just click one of those. And as you can see, the first thing it does is prompt you to choose an image. So just go ahead and choose that skateboarder. Now you could, of course, upload a new image here if you wanted, and so you can see our image frame here includes a bit of a shape to it. And if you want to adjust this, you can, of course, just once we stop moving it, click. I'm trying to get you to get to that to the menu options on this guy. Pull it down a little bit to the middle of the stage, please.
Okay.
Excellent. And then right above there, you see these options that come up: swap, lock, flip. This is your full menu option here. And then crop is that other one. If you click crop, and this is true for any of the image frames, then you can adjust what's actually visible in the frame like that. And if we click out, just go ahead when you're done, just click right out of it anywhere else on the stage, and then that will shape that. Now you can actually resize this by just dragging the corner there, and everything stays in place, but you've done your cropping separately. So you can do that with an animated GIF, and that is a bit of a workaround in order to have video show up, say, like on a computer screen in one of those image holders or something like that. I hope that that was helpful for you. Can you put, this is a question coming from Naomi. Naomi, welcome. Can you put music and voiceover on at the same time? Yes, you can. This is actually one of my favorite things to do. I really, really, really enjoy voice work and recording and that kind of stuff. So I'll take you through kind of how I do this sort of thing. What I would do is I would record my voiceover, the entire voiceover, separately. This is my preference, and I find it's easier to match my visuals to the timing of my audio when the audio is done first. So I'll record my entire voiceover. Of course, I work on the script, get it approved, all those processes, and that's different for all of us, but exists for all of us for sure. I record my voiceover, do a little bit of audio production so it's nice and high quality. Then I'll upload that. If we can go to the music tab, Claire, in the menu here. Bum.
I swear my computer's doing some updates.
It's okay.
Background.
No worries at all. One more click ought to do it.
I'm not touching it. Come on.
I think just give it one more.
Yeah. We're
There
frozen
we
at the
go.
moment.
Nope, you're good. Don't move.
There we go.
You're good. So add music or add voiceover, and I would choose add voiceover, and I would upload my voiceover file for the entire Powtoon. It gives you that option after you upload. Oh, this is music, I see. And I regularly I will use the music that's actually in Powtoon. What's great about that is those are royalty free to use with your Powtoon license, so you don't need to worry about any infringing on anybody else's rights or anything like that. And there are lots and lots of options in there. So yeah, here you would just click that middle one, upload, if you've got a voiceover file already made, and you would go through the wizard like this. We don't have to. You guys know how computers work. And then it would give you the option to choose for the entire Powtoon or for just the slide. And I would choose entire Powtoon for that sort of thing. And then you can add music. We can X out of this uploader. And then you can add music, like I said, from the list there, which is what I tend to do usually, or you can upload your own. Very simple. Again, just any MP3 file, upload it, just like we saw. And then, if you, Claire, would be so kind as just click on that speaker icon that's just below the stage. There we go. So once you have your voiceover and your soundtrack, or up to and including, excuse me, voiceover for a current slide, you can see all of those guys right there. And and that's where you can adjust their relative volumes as well. So as you can see, this soundtrack, oftentimes the music soundtracks are much louder in their production than a voiceover would be. So it's not uncommon to have those turned almost all the way down, so that you can hear the music, it's there, but it's not really overcoming or overwhelming the text of the voiceover. People can hear it. So yeah, and if we had a voiceover track in there, it would have its own volume as well. So you can adjust those relatively and play them and see how that they're showing up. Naomi, I hope that was helpful and answers your question. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Right. Yes. Darren, also, like I said, I enjoy adding voiceover first. I find it's easiest to time visuals to to the timing that way, rather than to try and guess that I need to, make a pause or make an accent on something at a particular moment. I can just do that how it feels naturally in my recording, in my voiceover, and then match the visuals or the changes or the entry of some text or something like that to that. That's what I tend to do. Let's see here. There was one other question I was looking at. So this is kind of a little bit higher level, and Claire, I'd love your input on this. This is a question that's coming from Dorcas. She wants to know, how can I create engaging videos for students, in the 3 to 5 minute range? And now you're not necessarily working with students per se, but you are creating communications that are training people. And so what are your, tell me a little bit about how you really try to customize a story that you're telling or a video to make it extra engaging for a particular audience. Are there any tech? I know I'm completely thrown that we didn't talk about any of this beforehand, so it's
It's okay.
totally off the cuff.
No,
But
no,
what's your sense of that? Like,
you read.
how do you
Yeah, no, no.
personalize and make it engaging to an audience?
So it's really important that you understand who your audience are. What's the language that they speak? So you know your students, you understand their perceptions. So do a bit of a study about them in order to be able to relate to their world. I'd say like 5 minutes is a long time for a video, and especially for students.
Mm,
So if you can cut it down to 3 minutes, that would probably be a lot more engaging. Yeah, and just open with a story that will resonate well with them, relate to their world,
mm,
that will set them up to learn. Then try and break your learning points into three main points, 5 main points maximum. Any more, and you're asking too much for the learner. And then kind of recap your learning points at the end, and get to the point, and tie back to that initial opening. What was your hook at the start? These are all techniques. That kind of story structure is what's often used, and will help
mm.
you kind of talk to your students.
Yeah. I think also, especially with students, a pattern interrupt, something that puts you as the teacher in an unfamiliar situation or a funny situation. I think also, of course, it depends on your classroom. It depends on the students. It depends on what you are actually doing in the video. It could maybe be a little too crazy, but I think that sort of thing also. Don't forget about a little bit of humor. Don't forget about putting something a little bit out of context to sort of keep them guessing. Claire, I've got a direct question for you. It's coming from someone named Morgan, who is also an Accenture professional. He says, "Question for Claire. I work at Accenture as well, and would love to know how you have best incorporated Powtoon into your client work. Maybe just take a second in
Yeah,
case people don't know what Accenture is and what you guys do, just a sentence or two on that, and then how is
sure.
it that you're incorporating Powtoon into your client work?"
So my role is to help with learning adoption. We provide a learning service to our clients, and we are trying to ensure that there's a growth mindset there. So for all of our trainings, that we try and build videos to captivate the learners, to advertise the training, build momentum and interest around the learning, connect it to the big picture goals, using all the fabulous uh, tech, techniques and tools that that Powtoon offers. So it's making that human connection, making it real from them. That's the most powerful weapon for us when it comes to using Powtoon for our clients.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so we are coming towards the close of our time today. And I just had one more here from Magna. She says, "My name is Magna. I have a question. I have a YouTube channel, and when I upload a video, it says you cannot monetize." Well, unfortunately, Magna, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. It's something you'll need to speak directly to YouTube about, because they've got all sorts of reasons why creators can or cannot monetize. If the issue that you're finding is directly related to perhaps you uploaded an MP3 file as audio to your video that wasn't a part of the library in Powtoon, and perhaps someone has a copyright claim on that audio track. I'm not entirely sure. It's something definitely that YouTube should be able to help you with. But what we generally recommend is, if you're worried about those sorts of things, to be sure that you've got a premium account and to use the library here, which is royalty free and included in premium plans. So that's what we've got there. And then finally, Darren is asking us, what's the easiest way to design videos that have frequently changing content? And I think, Darren, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're still around, please do chime in. I just want a bit of clarification. Do you mean videos that you update on a regular basis and have to like have different variations of them on a frequent basis, or do you mean a video that has many characters in it, one single video, but it's changing a lot? Thanks for the clarification ahead of time. But I think what I'm going to do, in case I don't hear from you there, is Darren, there you are. Yes, reuse videos, but changing content. I love it. So um, this is definitely, I think, one of the strengths of Powtoon. Uh, because once you've created a video, it basically is a template for you, your own personal template. You can copy that, change the title, swap out a character, swap out, change the background colors. You can do small things that make the video feel very different. And you can also create changes that are based on the performance of previous videos. So if you happen to know, let's say you were running a video as an ad, and you happen to know that it had the view through rate dropped way off at a certain point, and you can analyze that. Oh, well, here we had this transition here, and it took a couple of seconds before we got into the next thing. Maybe I can tighten that up this time. So uh, Darren, it may be that you have videos that look very similar but are slightly improved, iterated, or it could be that you have kind of a common skeleton that you built in one video, and you're changing how it's dressed up. So you're really not that those kinds of changes you can do in a couple of minutes. If I'm simply changing the color of the text, updating a few pieces of text here and there, a name, a date, and whatever else is changing there, then all of a sudden you've got a video that looks so different, and you've really only had to spend about 10-15 minutes brushing it up. So that's my answer on that one. Claire, are you using videos that have, like that you need to sort of slightly tweak and use
Yes.
one video as a basis for others? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we have a testimonial series. So we'll switch out maybe the name of the course. We'll switch out the video of the person talking. We'll maybe change some of the imagery that talk to what the course is about. Really easy to do. So maybe the initial video took 5 hours to build, but then it just takes a couple of hours or maybe even an hour just to switch out some of the content. You have a very different looking video, but it builds in the same way.
Excellent, excellent. So what I'm just gonna quickly, if it's okay with you, Claire, I'm gonna take back control of our presentation here. Attendee, that's me. Make presenter. Excellent. Can you guys all see my screen? I hope so. But what I wanted to show you in the studio here, one last question. Someone was asking, this is Vinjamari is asking, can we copy and paste the content from one project video to another? And the answer is no. You can certainly copy and paste things. If you're watching my screen here, I'm just selecting stuff. I'm going to Control C, go on to the next slide, say I want this all to show up at 2 seconds, Control V, boom. So you can copy and paste inside one project, but if you're unable to do that, something I really, really enjoy is save current scene. So let's say I've got this and I, have a shape or two, and let's make this one green and here, boom, boom. And I've got some text, and let's just use a video title here, boom, boom. Oops. I'm just gonna move that and move this over here, and get this guy back over here. Oh, sorry about that. Anywho, and let's say we've got a background color that is this gray, and we've got a character. You guys might have also noticed we were in the real look there before, but now I'm in the modern edge look, which has sort of like characters appropriate for the modern office place. Also, I want to just point out these three families, Cosmo, Rhapsody, and Boho, these are brand new, and we actually have a beta character editor so that you can adjust the clothing that they're wearing, customize them to exactly your audience, to your context. And in the very near future, we will have the ability to also edit the characters themselves and build your own characters. So all of this to say, I've worked hard to find my characters, get my text here, set the background, and I want to use this in other videos. No problem. I go to scenes and I save current scene. What that's going to do is save a 10-second slide, or let's say I need it to be 12 seconds. 12-second slide. It's going to save all of your timing, all of the colors, all of the text, all of the characters, all of the everything. Save current scene, and then it's in my scenes. And now if I open a new project, in one click, I can just get everything back. So let's say I want to take this one and I want to make this like that. One click, do I want to replace that? Yes, continue. And now everything I had in one click is there. I don't have to copy one thing and go back and go in between projects. It's right there. It's in my my scenes library, and I can get to it anytime. We also have all these wonderful professionally designed scenes that are available for you guys too. So I do apologize, everyone. We have so many questions coming in. We could probably be here for the rest of the day or even longer, but I would be remiss if I didn't thank Claire for her time and all of her expertise, sharing your tips and tricks, how you make a story land with an audience with video. It's so amazing, and I'm really grateful for your time. If people want to know more about Accenture, what Accenture does, go to accenture.com, and you can find out more about all the awesome work they do there. As I mentioned earlier, you will be receiving a video replay via email tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And if you feel inclined, send us an email. We do read them. We can't necessarily respond directly to everyone, but we do try to read everything there. We respond to a number of people, and this is how we get ideas for new webinars. This is how we meet new people doing amazing things with Powtoon. So, and this is also how we learn what are we missing? What do we need to train you guys on? What other video skills should we help you build? So email us webinar@powtoon.com. And I do just want to say, stay safe, stay connected, and stay awesome. I'm so grateful you guys joined us today. Have a great rest of your week, and thank you very much.